nena. Cómetela rápido.
You hungry?
Come on your service with gameplay of Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, and in today's video, as you can tell from the title above, Assassin's Creed Victory has been leaked. It's pretty epic. Like, I didn't think that, I just don't know how it's possible that it got leaked this early. I mean, games never get leaked, you know, much before developers want it. It's usually like, you know, at least a couple of weeks or days or some days or something like that. So I'm a little bit sort of shocked by this, but in the end, I still have to say it's fantastic. As you can tell from the levels that I'm showing you guys on here from AC4, Assassin's Creed is really sort of an epic saga. It's a saga where Ubisoft really pays attention to all their games, where, you know, every single game has its core mechanics and then they add on to those things. And with Assassin's Creed, the core mechanics are, of course, you know, stealth and high levels of immersion and graphics and sort of graphics that really immerse you, and gameplay that really excites you, and then of course they have combat and stuff like that. But I really feel like this game is a really stealth game first, and then a combat game second, because it just feels like the way it's designed, the way the entire game just feels like it does feel like a stealth game. It works well as a stealth game, and as a combat game it also works great. But I feel like it's a more fun game when you play it stealthily. So maybe that's just my opinion. But anyway, so an Assassin's Creed Victory is going to be set in Victorian London, which is not. I think it's a great setting. I think it's very reminiscent of what Unity did with France. And you know, I think of course they're going to have an epic tale to tell with this. As you can tell with AC4, I mean, they have some really nice set pieces here. And of course, in the Caribbean Sea, that's going to be like one of the best. That's got to be like the best setting ever. But you know, I think AC4 will still be on top, and it'll still be supreme compared to Victory. But I mean, let's examine the Victorian London. So it's of course, Victorian London is, to me, a lot like Paris in that, you know, there are a lot of buildings, or a lot of rooftops that you can go into, and that to me is a very reminiscent of old Assassin's Creeds, which I'm sure Ubisoft was trying to, you know, develop and model after. Like, especially like, you know, AC2 with those glorious, like Venice. Like, Venice was such a glorious place to just open world and parkour and stuff like that. So I'm sure that this game is going to be fantastic in that aspect. And I'm sure that with, you know, the sort of setting, they're going to have a lot of stealth focused, as they did in, you know, previous games too. Which is a very good thing. Like I said, you know, Assassin's Creed core is stealth mechanics and stuff like that. And to me, what AC4 does well, I'm not on the bandwagon where people are like, you know, AC4 is the best AC because it's about pirates, or because it has, you know, boat gameplay or stuff like that. Those are all very nice things, and I like that a lot. And when I play this game, I'm like, oh yeah, this game's a boss pirate game. But the reason I like AC4 the most out of any AC game is because it handles its core mechanics so well. Like, the immersion level in this game is off the charts. This game is by far, I think, the most immersive Assassin's Creed game yet. The stealth gameplay is very well done. The mechanics are very well done. The gameplay is very well done. The soundtrack fits with the pirate theme so well. And just basically so many aspects of this game are just so well designed and tweaked to make it a very immersive and fun and stealth game, that it just works so well, and that's why I love it so much. And with Assassin's Creed Victory, it has those core mechanics, but I don't see like immediate like pop out like AC4 has. Like, whenever you see AC4, you're sort of like, oh, pirates and boats and stuff like that. Victory doesn't really have that so far, but of course, this is all really early. I mean, the game still has like 12 months to ship, so I don't imagine Ubisoft revealing anything too soon. You know, they already have their plate full with Unity. So I sort of don't want this to go the wrong way, and where Ubisoft, you know, really rushes this game. And that brings me to my next point. Game leaks like a year before they're leaked. Like, this is really, for me, this is one of the first times this has ever happened. Usually, like I said, you know, when games are leaked, it's usually a couple weeks, a couple days, something like that. Nothing too far, but this is like 5 months, 6 months before the game's gonna be announced. And that's a big deal for Ubisoft, because right now they already have their hands full with, you know, Unity, like I said. And plus, this year hasn't been super great for Ubisoft. Like, Far Cry 4 was pretty good, but I think Far Cry 3 was better from what people say. Watch Dogs was sort of a disappointment for some people. Unity has a lot of bugs, and the crew was sort of a letdown compared to what Ubisoft hyped it up to be. So I do have to admit that this year was not the best for Ubisoft. So I still want them to sort of recover with this and then focus on the other games. But it's not their fault for leaking it. This was leaked by an anonymous some source. I don't know who it did it, but it's clear why they did it. It's of course to make a quick buck so they can make some money or something like that. And it's like, I just don't agree with this practice. Like, it's ruining it for the entire community. Right now we have our hands full with Unity. We're just trying to make sure that Ubisoft fixes it and that we're trying to get sort of compensation, which Ubisoft has done really well with so far. If you have Assassin's Creed Unity, if you guys didn't know, you get the Dead Kings DLC for free, and if you have the Assassin's Creed Unity Season Pass, you get to choose between a wide amount of like great titles and new titles like Far Cry 4, AC4 Black Flag. You get the Crew, Watch Dogs, all these great games. So I really like how Ubisoft has sort of recovered from Unity, and I think that's fantastic that they've done that. But in the end, this is going to be a really, really bad thing for Ubisoft. I mean, they weren't planning on announcing this till like 6 months later. It just doesn't. It's not going to go well for them. I just don't want them to be like, all right, this game's announced. We want to get on the hype train. We don't want to lose that hype and then suddenly just regain it all the time, because that's going to take a lot of work for Ubisoft to do. And they want to get their trailers out or something like that. I don't want them to rush it. Honestly, I would much rather they take their time, delay it if they need to, just to make up for Unity, and then bring out a much more polished game rather than sort of rush everything to get on the hype train. I just don't think that's a good strategy for Ubisoft to do at this point. So, I mean, I just don't agree with whoever did this. I mean, this is really bad for the entire community. We're getting a game already announced that when we're so like worried about Unity getting fixed and stuff. With the holiday season already here, if people are gonna like plan on buying Unity or something like that, they're gonna have to worry. They're gonna be like, should I really get this game if it's broken? And then some people might just skip out on it. Ubisoft already has its hands full, and I'm sure a lot of the gaming community does as well. So I just don't agree with. I just don't like this sort of leak practice that people have for now. If it's something like about the game specifically, not the game itself, like let's say 6 months from now, right before E3, someone leaks that Assassin's Creed Victory will indeed have a multiplayer sort of game part to the game. That's fantastic. I don't care about that. I mean, I think that's great for people to do. To get sort of early. I'm not great, but it's much better than this. I think it's understandable if people do that. But to leak a game itself, like that's just really low, man. Especially this early, and to a company who's still recovering. It was one of the best gaming companies out there, and who's still trying hard to recover. It's just, I just don't agree with it. I don't think it should have happened. Of course, it does bring a lot of controversy. The gamers might be excited for this, and the Ubisoft might get on the hype train really early. But no, I don't think this was a smart decision at all. I think a lot of the business associates will agree with me on this aspect. So yeah, I just don't agree with this. I mean, I wish I could say all games have are great, and that every single game is going to be perfectly fixed, and that every game is fantastic. But I mean, nothing's like that these days. Every game has its issues, and right now Ubisoft's recovering from their issues. They're trying to make sure their game is good. They're trying to fix all these other things about the game. And I mean, every game has its time and place. That is for sure. Like, every game has to be released at a certain time. It has to be done in a certain way. It has to be perfected in this way. It has to be done in this way. Like, there are many ways to do a game, but the best ways should never be rushed. So I mean, Ubisoft, if you're watching this, do what you gotta do. Do not rush this game. Trust me. I speak for the community. We do not want another rushed game. We have so many rushed games that are already coming out. Like even a Halo collection with its matchmaking not working. I've gotten to like so few games of Halo, and even when I get in, it doesn't feel that great of a connection and stuff like that. So I really want them to fix that. I know that's getting fixed this week. Advanced Warfare also is a great game, but it's not entirely lag free or like completely perfect. So I do wish that they fix that as well. But I think Assassin's Creed Unity is one of the worst launches in Ubisoft history, from what I can tell. That and all, I mean, Assassin's Creed is a great franchise. There's no doubt that Assassin's Creed Victory is going to be a bad game. Every Assassin's Creed, if you look at every Assassin's Creed so far, yes, there are some that are much better than others, but they're all very good games. They're all you can you can sit down on late at night, play these games, and just have a great time playing them, and that's what matters the most for gaming. It's not that the games are this aspect or this aspect. It's how much can you play it and enjoy it. And I feel like if a game has to be leaked to sort of ruin that, then then it can't happen anymore. Like, I would much rather have the game be leaked and delayed than the game be sort of bad in the first place. But I just wish that we had a perfect game that came out, that Ubisoft did not have to rush it at all, that no one just leaked it or something like that. So that's been my commentary for today. Hope you guys enjoyed the AC4 footage. I think it's my first AC4 footage on my channel, which is surprising because it's one of my favorite games of all time. Really, it is. So if you like the gameplay, please make sure to subscribe and stick around for more content. Check out some of my other videos if you have not seen them yet, and I will for sure be doing more videos about Assassin's Creed Victory. This is going to be a very controversial issue. I guarantee you this is going to be a very, very controversial issue for the gaming community and for Ubisoft as well. Ubisoft, hope you recover. As for Assassin's Creed Victory, what I give it right now, 10 out of 10 with delay.